All in. All in. What's up? Oh. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 66, part 2 of my poker vlog channel. Hopefully you guys are here because you have finished watching part 1, which is a 5-minute short film I made titled Poker Blues. If you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to pause this video and go check it out and then come back here. This video would make a lot more sense if you have seen it, or if none of that stuff interests you and you guys just want to see my poker session and poker hands, timestamps in this description. Now that you have seen it, thank you for checking it out. Yeah, so what was that? That was just me feeling a little bit creative. A lot of you wouldn't know, but I am a huge film fan. I love movies, TV. I follow quite a bit of movie news, and I do have this appreciation for like the art of filmmaking, and I've always wanted to experience that process. Starting this channel, Vlogging Poker, has allowed me to do some of that to an extent, but I've always wanted to go through like coming up with a story, writing a script, getting behind the camera to look for more cinematic angles, lighting, editing in sound effects, visual effects, everything. And one day I just thought to myself, why don't I just do that for the next episode of my poker vlog? And yeah, that was the product of me working on it on and off for about 2 months. So yeah, the visual style, overall tone, obviously heavily inspired by the movie Sin City, directed by Robert Rodriguez, which was adapted from Frank Miller's comic. I love that movie. I chose to try to emulate that vibe. Yeah. Anyways, my original plan was to just have a regular poker vlog episode shot and scripted in that style. And then in the film, my plan was have a real poker session in there from Grand Villa. So when I arrived to the poker room in the film, I was supposed to actually shift to hand reviews. And then this entire like part 2 episode is all actually supposed to be like one episode. This part would be the outro where I just briefly talk about the film project and then share my session results. Didn't really work out that way because as I was editing the film, I just thought it might be a good idea to have it as a standalone video, just in case people don't really not interested in seeing it at all. And then also the vibe, the tonal shift was like a little bit too jarring when I just switched to like the cinematic style to actually hand reviews. So yeah, that's why I just decided to split it into 2 parts. Again, hope you guys check out the video if you guys haven't yet. It's not getting a lot of views. In fact, it's actually, as of this moment, my worst performing video view count wise. My channel is pretty small, so not like that's a very high bar or low bar. Actually, not really sure which one I should use in this context. But yeah, ironically, I actually spent like more hours on that video than any other one on this channel. And that's YouTube for you. But without any further ado, here are my poker hands from that session. This hand, I pick up pocket kings at the cutoff. Everyone folds to me and I open to $10. Only the small blind defends. It's heads up into a flop of king 10-7 with 2 diamonds. The villain checks to me. What an awesome start. I get dealt a premium starting hand and flop top set. I c-bet for $15. And the villain just folds. Pretty anticlimactic, but guess I can't complain taking in an early pot. This hand, I pick up ace-8 of hearts in the low jack. I open to $10. The cutoff, button, and small blind all call. It's three-way into a flop of 9-6-4, all diamonds. Small blind checks to me. The flop was the right color, but not what I was looking for. Out of position multi-way, I just check. The cutoff also checks. The button bets $25, and everyone folds. This hand, I pick up ace-jack of diamonds at under the gun +1. I open to $10. The middle position calls. The hijack 3 bets to $25. The action folds back to me. At these stakes, facing 3 bets, I think it's best to tread carefully. The sizing is pretty small though, and I do have a great hand that wants to see a flop. The middle position is likely just dead money and won't ever be strong enough to squeeze. Since I'll be out of position anyways, I actually don't mind inviting him in with odds. I cold call. The middle position also calls, as expected. It's three-way into a flop of 8, 9, 10 with 1 diamond. Everyone checks to the aggressor, who c-bets for $36. I have 2 overs, an open ender, and a backdoor nut flush draw on a board that's not in the villain's range, so I'm definitely not going anywhere quite yet. I call. The middle position folds. The turn is a jack. Very nice for me to hit top pair, but it does put out a 4-card straight on the board. I think with his 3 betting range, the only straight he would have is pocket queens. I check again to try to navigate the showdown. The villain checks back. Very good sign. I'm likely facing ace-king. The river is a 6, which is a brick. I think for a sec, if I can go for thin value here, I would only be targeting jack-king or ace-10 suited, hands that I don't see players 3-betting at these stakes. I decide to just check. The villain checks back. I show my hand, and he mucks. This hand, I pick up 5-6 of diamonds at the cutoff. There are 2 limpers before the action is on me. With good position, I decide to attack the dead money. I raise it to $20, hoping to take it down pre-flop or isolate to play in position. There are 3 callers, including one of the limpers. It's 4-way into a flop of Jack-7 deuce with 2 spades. The small blind just leads out for $25, +1 folds. I completely miss, and the villain is just showing a lot of strength, betting into 3 players, out of position. Easy fold for me. This hand, I pick up pocket kings and low jack. Under the gun limps, and the action is on me. I raise it to $20. The button calls, the small blind calls, and the limper calls. It's 4-way into a flop of Jack 8-6 with 2 clubs. Action checks to me. Pretty good flop for kings. I have the club blocker, which is nice at this point. I c-bet for $40. The small blind and under the gun calls. The turn is a queen. Both villains check to me again. Not the safest card in the deck. There is an obvious straight that got there with 9-10. Jack-queen is also a possible 2-pair combo, but I do think straights are not checking here with a flush draw out there. I decide to keep the betting lead. I bet $100. I might be up against flush draws that I don't want to miss value from. Again, both of them call. The river is a king. They both check to me once again. At this point, I'm just certain I have the best hand, if I didn't, all the way. Straight on the turn could not have just check called. Straight on the river with ace-10 just doesn't make sense. I decide to jam for value. I go all in. The small blind calls, and +1 folds. We table our hands, and I beat Jack-queen. That's a lucky river for me. This hand, I pick up ace-king in the small blind. There are 3 limpers before the action is on me. I raise it to $25. Only one of the limpers, the low jack, calls. It's heads up into a flop of ace-4-5 with 2 clubs. Awesome flop hitting the ace. I c-bet for $35. And the villain folds. This hand, I pick up Jack Queen at the cutoff. Everyone folds to me and I open to $10. Only a small blind defends. It's heads up into a flop of 854 Rainbow. The villain checks to me. Flop doesn't hit my range, nor my hand, but I do have 2 overcards and a backdoor straight. I decide to take a jab. I c-bet for $10. The villain calls. The turn is a 9. The villain checks again. I do pick up equity here with a gut shot. I decide to keep the pressure going. I go for a second barrel and make an overbet of $50. The villain calls. The river is a deuce. The villain checks to me again. At this point, I just feel like the villain is a non-believer. He could be laying in the weeds with something super strong like 2 pair plus, but I don't think I have a good enough image to get him off like a bluff catching hand either. I just wave the white flag and check back. He shows 3-5 to take it down. Well played, sir. This hand, I pick up pocket aces at under the gun. I open to $10. The button calls. The small blind calls. The big blind 3-bets to $55. What an amazing spot. Definitely throwing in a 4-bet here, just thinking of the sizing. The cold callers are pretty much dead money. I make it $120. I took a look at the big blind stack and figured with that sizing, the SPR will be close to 1 on the flop, which is what I want. The cold callers fold, and the big blind calls. It's heads up into a flop of 4-6-8 Rainbow. The villain checks. I was looking to set up the all-in jam for most flops, and this one is a great one for aces. I go all in. He calls. The board runs, 6 on the turn and 4 on the river, double pairing the board. I table my hand, and the villain mucks. This hand, I pick up King 6 of Hearts in the middle position. I open to $10. Only the small blind defends. It's heads up into a flop of Jack 7-10 Rainbow with 1 heart. The villain checks. Though I have position, the flop is not in my range and also misses my hand. I cautiously check back. The turn is a queen. The villain checks again. I now pick up some equity with an open-ender. I go for a delayed c-bet of $25 to hopefully take it down now. The villain calls. The river is another queen. The villain checks again. Checking back to go to a showdown with king high is an option. I could beat some missed draws, but I do lose to 10x, 7x, jack x, and even ace highs like ace of clubs with flush draw or ace 9. Since he has checked 3 times to show he's not that strong, I decide the better option is to at least take a jab to get him off of hands like ace highs, 7x, and pocket pairs. I think of a sizing to target those hands to fold, and I go with $60. And the villain folds. This hand, I pick up 6-8 of diamonds on the button. There are 2 limpers before the action is on me. Not a great hand, but with the best position, I decide to attack the dead money. I raise it to $20. Both of the limpers call. It's 3-way into a flop of 9-7-4 Rainbow with 1 diamond. Both players check to me. Flop is not in my range at all, but I got a lot of potential with an open-ender and backdoor flush possibility. With position, I think it's good enough to c-bet. I make it $30, and everyone folds. That concludes my session. I bought in for $500 and cashed out with $1,530. That's a profit of $1,030. Not bad at all for playing around 3 hours of 1-3. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I hope you guys look forward to the next.